Northern California, late 1968 to late 1969. Over the course of a year, 5 confirmed murders took place. The targets were young couples parked on remote, unlit roads. After shooting 2 people in Vallejo, the assailant found a payphone, dialed the local police department, and reported the coordinates of his own double murder. Then came the mail. As you can see in this letter, the handwriting is erratic, but the intent is clear. Over several months, the Bay Area's major newspapers received these handwritten messages demanding front-page publication, threatening further violence if they refused. These letters established his public persona, containing complex cryptographic puzzles designed to taunt law enforcement. A killer who claimed 37 victims repeatedly handed investigators direct written communication and demanded media attention, only to completely vanish without a single arrest. He mailed a message composed of 408 distinct symbols. A high school teacher and his wife in Salinas decoded it in a matter of days, revealing a boastful, macabre statement of intent. The killer then escalated, sending a second puzzle known as the Z340. This cipher relied on superior structural complexity, scrambling letters across diagonal patterns to obscure the text. The message was built with such mathematical density that it defeated the world's best professional codebreakers, including the NSA, for decades. On the physical side of the investigation, detectives zeroed in on Arthur Lee Allen. For years, he remained the most heavily investigated suspect in the case. The circumstantial evidence against him was heavy. A surviving witness placed him near one of the crime scenes. And, looking at this comparison, the face of his mid-century Zodiac brand watch bore the exact crosshair symbol the killer drew on his letters. Decades later, cold case teams pointed to a modern suspect, a man named Gary Francis Post. They built a theory based on witness testimonies and specific scars on his forehead that matched early police sketches. None of this yielded an arrest. Without concrete biological or digital evidence tying a suspect directly to the scene, the legal system cannot secure a conviction based on circumstantial suspicion alone. Why couldn't they get that proof? First, the attacks occurred across multiple county lines. Jurisdiction created silos, preventing different local departments from effectively sharing evidence with one another. Second, investigators operated with an absolute lack of modern surveillance. No CCTV cameras, no cell phone pings, and no digital data tracking to trace a suspect's movements. That left biological evidence. When the killer mailed those letters, he licked the stamps and the envelope flaps. The saliva left behind should have been enough to isolate a single genetic profile. But over 50 years, those biological samples degraded. They were contaminated by decades of improper handling. And because the killer had no known prior arrest record, there was no centralized database to run a profile against, even if one had been successfully extracted. The killer operated within a specific technological and jurisdictional vacuum that simply lacked the tools to trap him. Fast forward to 2020. That mathematically dense Z340 cipher was finally cracked by a global team of amateur codebreakers collaborating from their homes. The case remains highly active today. In 2025, a retired FBI profiler released a book utilizing newly uncovered police files, reigniting a massive public debate over overlooked evidence. The ultimate path forward lies in genetic genealogy. This forensic tool bypasses the need for a direct database match by mapping familial connections. It takes an unknown DNA point and traces it chronologically outward to find distant living relatives. This exact methodology was used to identify and convict the Golden State Killer after 40 years of investigative dead ends. Today, investigators are working to apply this same technique to the remaining trace evidence pulled from the flaps of the Zodiac's letters. The passage of time was once the Zodiac's greatest shield, but the relentless evolution of forensic science means time is now the exact weapon that will likely unmask him.